is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you, we praise you. This is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you, we praise you. This is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you, we praise you. We'll see you break down every wall. We'll watch the giants fall. You cannot survive when we praise you. The God of breakthroughs on our side. Forever lift him high. With all creation crying, God, one more time. We'll see you break down every wall. We'll watch the giants fall. You cannot survive when we praise you. The God of breakthroughs on our side. Forever lift him high. With all creation crying, God, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. We praise you, yes.
Whew. Whew. Woo! Ah! Woo! Whoa, what's up, United Movement? Hey, y'all keep catching me right when I'm on the tail end of my workout. Y'all see what I'm hitting today, man. I'm hitting the legs. It's leg day today. Yo, we are in week 2 of our faith training series. I mean, I just gave you the title. The title for this week is Leg Day. If anybody knows anything about working out, about training, the worst day of training is typically leg day. Leg day is like, it's rough. And we're going to talk about how rough leg day can be. But first, let's do a little recap. So again, last week, was faith training week 1. We spoke about Noah and the ark. Again, God had just destroyed the earth, the entire earth, and only saved 8 people, which was Noah and his family members, right? So again, he destroyed the earth with water. At this point, the ark rested on Mount Ararat. The waters receded. Obviously, God gave the command at that point and said, listen, I will never destroy the earth again by water. And so the entire, all the inhabitants of the ark, he said, listen, be fruitful and multiply, go out into all the earth and populate the entire earth, because obviously we need to repopulate this earth, right? So he gave them these particular commandments. And so what we're going to look at this week, again, even though we're focusing on the title of Leg Day, we're going to pick right up after that. We're going to pick up right after that. And so again, these two stories will mesh. The second passage that we're going to talk about this week is the Tower of Babel. And again, growing up, you may have heard that story of the Tower of Babel. You're like, oh yeah, God confused everybody's language, and that's how we got the languages. Yeah, that's kind of like the very simplified version of that. But again, we'll pick up and we'll unpack that a bit more today. So again, we're talking about the Tower of Babel. This immediately follows after Noah's Ark, right? So again, Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Right? And obviously, what they began to do, they began to populate the earth, as well as his wives. All of their wives were on the ark as well. They began to populate the earth, so they began to have a bunch of kids. At that time, people lived a lot longer than they typically do now. So again, at the time of the Tower of Babel, this was about 100 years after the flood in Noah's Ark. So again, at this point, there were probably still some people, like direct descendants of the people that were on the ark, who were still alive. Because again, people were living to like 900, 950. Like, they were living a very long time. So again, they had firsthand knowledge of this flood. But let's check out what happened. We'll pick up right here. So it says this, and this is Genesis chapter 11. We're going to look at verse 1 through 4. We'll look at a few other verses as well. It says this: now the whole world had one language and a common speech. So again, we'll pause there for just 1 second. Again, you're like, of course they had one language. It was 8 people on the ark. Of course they're going to speak the same exact language. When it says one speech, that's a specific signifier there as well. Again, I'll give you a quick example. I grew up in Philly, so we say the word joint a lot. We use the word joint for everything. So we're like, hey, yo, did you pick up the joint from the store? And again, joint could mean a bike. Did you pick up the bike from the store? Did you pick up the bag of chips from the store? Did you pick up the juice from the store? I'm like, oh, yo, yeah, that joint was crazy. I could be talking about anything. I could be talking about a movie. I could be talking about anything. So again, that's where my Philly vernacular would pick up, but someone from Philly would know exactly what I'm talking about. In the same way, since they had the same language and they had the same common speech. So again, it was very, very easy for them to communicate. You're like, all right, well, that sounds like a good thing, right? Let's move on. It says this, verse 2. As people moved eastward, they found a plain in Shinar and settled there. They said to each other, come, let's make bricks and bake them thoroughly. They used brick instead of stone and tar for mortar. Then they said, come, let us build ourselves a city. With a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves. Otherwise, we will be scattered over the face of the entire earth, or of the whole earth. Now you may be like, all right, well, you're like, what's that a big deal? Like we have cities nowadays. Like what's the big deal? We have to go back to the word that God gave them. God said, listen, it's 8 of y'all on here. Go into the entire earth and populate the entire earth. And what did they do? They did the exact opposite. They said, hey, let's build a city. I know God said that, but you know what? Let's build a city. Let's go ahead and do that, because guess what? If we don't do that, guess what's going to happen? We're going to be scattered over the whole earth. They began doing things that were in direct contradiction of the law that God gave them. And this is 100 years after God just wiped out the entire earth. You're like, what is going on? You're almost like, is it opposite day? It must be opposite day, because we just going to do the exact opposite of what God told us. God said, scatter it over the entire earth and populate the entire earth. They said, we'll just gather. Instead of scatter, we'll gather. Let's do that. That sounds better because I'm smarter than God, right? But what they said, they also decided to do, they said, yo, let's build a tower. Let's make bricks. They said, you know what? Forget stone. I know God made stone. So let's make bricks. Let's do that. That's easier. I think I'll choose that. Let's do that. But they also did, and again, we'll have to go back because this is specific. When they said, hey, let's get mortar, right? And then let's get tar for mortar. Not only did that tar bind the bricks together, this tar that they spoke of was the same tar that Noah used to pitch, to seal up, to make the water not be able to enter the boat during the flood. So guess what they tried to do? They said, guess what? Also, not only is it opposite day, and not only did God tell us to scatter and we decided to gather, also, I don't believe God. Even though God said, hey, here's a rainbow just to signify as a reminder that I will never destroy the earth again by water. God, I don't believe you. Because he may be lying and he may do this again. So when we build this tower, guess what we'll do? It'll be waterproof. So if God does decide to destroy the world again by water, even though he promised not to, guess what we can do? We can climb up the tower and we can be saved. Because I don't believe God in his opposite day, and I know better than God. Do you see what's happening here? This is wild. This is wild, man. So again, these are just a couple of descriptions. So again, this is like a depiction of what they believe the Tower of Babel may have looked like. This right here is actually from antiquity. This is actually from that time. What most historians believe is that this actually was from literally the time frame of the Tower of Babel. This is what it would have looked like if it had been complete. And this was actually constructed by the individuals that lived in Babel. This right here, this was the king of that area. This was, most theologians believe it was Nimrod, who was actually the grandson of Noah. Could you imagine this? Like literally, no, they went through an entire cataclysmic flood that wiped the entire earth, and they are right back in the same position, defying God. But defying God, but sort of doing it their way, right? Check this out. The first one that we're going to look at, the first step in terms of the reasons why we hate leg day is because of pride. Pride. Yeah, the P word. Like pride stops us from doing leg day. Pride inhibits or holds back that faith training. Listen, when we have pride, it almost reminds me of like everybody wants abs, right? Like everybody wants to have abs, like you like, forget a 6-pack, I like to have an 8-pack. This guy right here, he has like a 10-pack. I don't even know how you do that. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know how you do that. But listen, this is the first thing about pride. Don't grow muscle just to show muscle. Like sometimes I think we like to grow our faith muscle just so we can show our faith muscle. And listen, that's exactly what the people that lived in Babel did. They wanted to grow that muscle just to show that muscle. They wanted to build this tower just to like say, well, you know what? Let's make a name for ourselves. Forget God. Let's make a name for me. Yeah, look at these abs. You ever see people with abs like to show off their abs? Listen, it could not even be that warm outside. People walking down the boardwalk, if they got abs, they got the shirt unbuttoned, walking around. People are like, dude, it's not even that warm out. It's like 65 degrees. That's okay. I'm hot. I'm like, dude, people have hoodies on and you got your abs out. Listen, it's about pride. Again, that's exactly what the people, they want to do. They say, let's make a name for ourselves. Let's do it. It's about me. That's number one. That's step number one. And check this out. It says that as well. Check out all the things that they said. They said, let's, which is a version of let us. It said, let us build ourselves. Ourselves. Let's make a name for ourselves. It is literally all about them. Check this next one out. Prejudice. So again, what holds us back from that faith training is number one, pride, where we like to get our abs right and have that pride to be all about us. Number two is prejudice. Prejudice. Listen, don't prioritize yourselves over God. And listen, prejudice is like the offspring of pride. You start off with pride, and that pride has a baby. But what's a cute little baby? What's the baby's name? The baby's name is prejudice. Prejudice simply acts out what pride has. It comes through whatever pride has. It's the offspring of pride. Prejudice. Listen, and that's when we prioritize ourselves above God. It's like, God, I know better. I know better. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's like having arms. Like, you know, everybody wants to have like big muscles, and the same thing. You'll see people with their arms out. What do they say? Sun's out. Yeah. Guns out. That's what we want to have. So again, we'll prioritize. We'll have pride in our abs, about our abs. We'll prioritize our muscles in our arms. Because again, those are the show things. Those are the things that other people can see. So again, be all about us. But listen, and we're going to see this in a moment when we pick up right here. This is Genesis 11, verses 5 through 9. So it picks up right after they say, hey, let's build this temple, let's build this tower. Again, just to give some contextual pieces on that, when they built this tower, sometimes we get it wrong where we believe that the tower was so they could reach God and that they could climb up to God. Like, no, it was more like a ziggurat. So again, ziggurat, you probably heard about that in history class. If not, I'll give you a quick history lesson. So the ziggurat was almost like a step pyramid. At the time, the Tower of Babel was the tallest building in the world. Even what people didn't notice, there were ruins of the Tower of Babel, even during the time of Alexander the Great, where they noticed some of the ruins. The Tower of Babel was actually even higher than the tallest pyramid, which again, the pyramid was the tallest structure until the Eiffel Tower, which is fairly recent, right? What they actually believed is that this was a ladder for God to come down. So what they believed is that, you know what? If we're doing this for God, then God will come to us. They had things completely backwards. Look how this picks up here. It says this, verse 5. But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower people were building. Now again, let's not get this confused. God is everywhere at all times. He sees everything. This is almost like a play on words. This is just a way for us to understand it. But it's almost like if somebody is doing something, you kind of like are making fun of them. They're like, man, let me see your little project that you got here. Come here, let me see it. Let me check it. Oh, that's it. Oh, look at that. Isn't that a cute little, oh, look at that. God came down to see the little city that the people were building. You want God to come down? He said, I got you. I got you. Verse 6 says this. The Lord said, if as one people speaking the same language, they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. Verse 7 says this. Come, let us go down and confuse their language so they will not understand each other. Now again, we saw that let us build and let us build this with pitch and mortar. We saw all that before. Now look how God counters it with let us. Listen, we're not too big for God. Sometimes we get too big for ourselves. God has to show us and uses the same exact language that says, let us do this. Let me show you how to do this. Verse 8 says this. So the Lord scattered them there over all the earth. Listen, let me pause right there. God's will be done. Listen, I know we're going through this time right now where you're like, yo, this is just complete havoc. I know God may be allowing it, but it just seems like God is just letting this thing happen. Listen, God's will be done. Even though man can do certain things and God gives us ability and free will, it says, look, they have the ability to make this tower. God didn't stop them from making the tower. He let them go ahead and build it. He said, I didn't tell you to do it, but if you're going to choose and use your will for that, okay. But when God finally makes that move, he says, I'm going to make that move. And guess what? Exactly what he told them to do in the beginning when he said, listen, scatter the entire earth and populate the entire earth. Look exactly what happened. So the Lord scattered them over all the earth. He says, my will is still going to be done. You can do it the easy way or the hard way. It says this, and they stopped building the city. That is why it was called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of the entire world, of the whole world. From there, the Lord scattered them over the face of the whole earth. He almost followed it up again. He says, if you didn't hear me the first time, let me hit you again. I scattered them. You went to gather and I scattered. Because that's what I told you to do in the beginning. Looks like you needed a little bit of help, so here you go. Right? It almost reminds me of, God is such a good trainer. It almost reminds me of this. Check this out.
Yo, what you doing, man? What you doing, man? What I told you? What I told you? You can't eat that, man. We just get for training. I've been driving behind you for 1 hour. You can't stay committed for 1 hour?
I'm trying.
You trying what?
I'm trying.
How you gonna lose weight? How you gonna lose weight? You gotta stay committed, man. This is no game. This is a life and death situation. I'm not gonna waste my time training you, then after training you eating donuts.
I'm sorry, John.
Come on, man. It's a disappointment in you, man.
Is that wild? Is that what? Listen, God almost treated the people of Babel just like that. He's like, yo, what are you doing? I just told you what to do. I just wiped out the entire earth. We just restarted this thing, and you go right back and you gonna sit here and eat this little donut. You would decide you think now is the time to go to Dunkin' Donuts? Like, what are you doing? Let's give you a quick pro tip, and we'll be done for today. Check this out. Pro tip: no legs equals no foundation. No legs equals no foundation. Again, we were talking about today is leg day, right? Today is leg day. We're hitting the legs. And I told you before, everybody hates leg day because leg day is very tough. Number one, you know what happens? People don't see leg day. People see arm day. You walk out of the gym, you walking out swole. Somebody says, hey, what you been doing? I've been working out. Oh, I can tell it looks like it. Leg day. People don't see leg day like that. But guess what? Leg day is foundation. Leg day is foundation. Without your legs, you don't have anything. And what the people of Babel tried to do is they said, listen, let's do the show thing. Let's get the abs right. Let's get the arms right. Because guess what? It's about us. And I want to do it my way. And it'll be about us. We'll make a name for us. It's about me. I know that happened 100 years ago. Pop. That happened a long time ago. Grandpop Noah. I know. But we still serving God. But we just going to do it our way. Right? It almost reminded me of this too. So, Wolverine, right? I'm a big X-Men guy, Yo, so when the actor for in the Wolverine series, each time he's like, yo, I got in the best shape of my life. I got in the tip-top shape of my life when I played this role for Wolverine. And Wolverine is just shredded, man. He's a monster. He's shredded. But guess what I found out about Wolverine? Hugh Jackman was the actor for Wolverine. But guess what I found out about Hugh Jackman? He's ripped. Look at these arms. But look at these little legs. Did Did y'all know Wolverine had little baby legs? Did y'all know that? I guess that's why they had him in the pants the whole time. I'm like, oh, Wolverine never wore shorts. I see why. That's the way that you beat Wolverine. Wolverine's like indestructible, but I was like, you beat Wolverine, you just knock him, hit him in the legs, he has no foundation, you knock him down, you got him. I didn't know that about Wolverine. But listen, in the same way, no legs, no foundation. Listen, if we don't serve God, if we don't do it God's way, guess what? All the show stuff, all the abs, all the arms, all that stuff that we think is cool, that we just doing for us, it means nothing at all. Listen, the word actually backs up what I said. Check this out. Matthew 7:24-26 says this. And again, this is a very long memory verse, but it's worth it. It's worth it. It says this. And Jesus says this. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. Check this rock out right here. Right? The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house. Yet, it did not fall because it had its foundation on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. Check this out. Check out these two. Check out the difference between these two. Look, this house, you would almost wonder, like, why would anyone build their house in the middle of a body of water? Like, what? It doesn't even matter where you build it if it's on the rock. If we build our lives on Christ, if we build our lives on doing what He says and not what we want, guess what? You are stable. You are stabilized. But listen, when we flip and like, well, I'm going to do, how about I just focus in on my house, right? Look how beautiful. Like, this is a beautiful, look at these windows here. I mean, this is beautiful. It has a terrace, upstairs, man. This is gorgeous. The problem is, what did he build on? What is this? What is this foundation? This foundation is built on, I don't know if this is sand or just simply, like, this is nothing under here. This foundation is flawed. So guess what? Whatever hit this, I don't know if this was a wind, wave, whatever it was, guess what? This thing crumbled. You're like, but it was a beautiful crumble. You call it what you want. It was ugly. It ended up ugly because of the foundation. So listen, I want to encourage us, focus in on our foundation. Our legs are our foundation. Christ is our foundation. But listen, I'm going to pause for 1 second because you're like, Yurick, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. But leg day, you said leg day is not good. You don't like leg day, right? I said that. And listen, none of us like leg day. We don't like, you know the reason why we don't like leg day? Because leg day hurts. You see this guy crawling, that's just like if he had the leg day. You see this woman right here, this is how people are at the leg day. You can barely walk sometimes after you work out and you do legs. You try to walk out of the gym, you try to look cool, like, you try to hold up to the stairs. So people like, you okay? So I'm like, you did legs today, huh? Yes. You try to get into the car, you almost army crawling into the car. Leg day is rough. It's time consuming. It's something you're like, yo, I don't even get anything good out of it. Nobody walks past like, ooh, you should be working those legs out. Wow, look at those hamstrings. Look at those great calves. You don't get any of the attention for legs. Listen, God encourages, listen, build your foundation on the rock. Get your legs right. The legs are the rock. The legs are Christ. We don't build it on Him. We're sinking. We're sinking. Listen, guys, let's pray. Dear God, thank you so much for this day. Thank you so much for this time. Thank you so much for your students, God. Thank you for the work that you are doing in them. God, I pray that they can just build their lives, their entire lives, everything on the rock. Let them build their lives in on you. If we build up everything else, God, it is sinking sand. So God, let us focus in on the right things. The show muscles will come. All that stuff will come if we have the right foundation. But God, let us focus in on you. Not like the people of Babel that wanted to do everything so they could make their own name great. God, don't let us fall into the trap where you have to make something happen. God, let us turn things around for ourselves. Let us focus in on you. God, for all of those that do not know you in the pardon of their sins, God, I pray that they will receive you. God, let them believe that you are born of a virgin birth, that you died on the cross for their sins, that you were raised 3 days later. God, let them repent of their sins. Let doing all those things wrong, God, let them accept you into their life today. Let them be a part of your family so that they can build their lives on you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Hey guys, once again, man, thank y'all so much for coming through. Amen. United Movement, we love y'all. As we said before, we have a lot of awesome things coming up. Make sure you follow us on IG. Again, our tag is Untd Mvmnt. Follow us. We got stuff going on every single day of the week. We got again some awesome service projects coming up for you guys. We're going to be making some masks out of socks. New socks, not gross socks that you've worn before, because that would be gross. And again, it's an awesome way for us to impact the community with Christ. Outside of that, guys, we'll see you next week, and we'll see you on IG. We out. Hey.